Boy, oh boy, I can't wait to be unnerved by these photos. Well, this first one's talking about how apparently a 73-year-old woman was found with a mummified fetus in her. This actually can happen, as it turns out. It's incredibly rare. It's only been like 200 cases. But basically, if a woman has a miscarriage and then for whatever reason, they never pass on the dead child and then, never go to the doctor about it or whatever, the body will just hang out and eventually calcify, because that's what dead things tend to do in the human body. Little weird, a little gross, but you know what? It's true. And honestly, having a dead body inside of you is pretty metal. This second one, I just can't. Oh no, I took a bath for too long. My hands, they're wrinkly. Mom, I'm scared. Well, last time I freaked out at having wrinkly hands, I was 6 and I took a bath. And this one has the same energy as that toilet I covered a long time ago in my initial popular debunking video. It's like, oh yeah, this looks really creepy unless this is the walk you do every single day. The first few times it might be a little weird, but you'll eventually get used to it, and then it's just, kind of a vibe. I mean, looking at it, honestly, if I was walking home from work in this fog, I'd imagine just putting some headphones, listening to a podcast, and it bringing a pretty chill time. I did a little digging. This oozing mass is in fact a slime mold. And as it turns out, slime molds are friends. They eat harmful bacteria, and they themselves are not harmful. They look gross, but they kind of just vibe. Now the fact that there's one, in someone's house potentially, probably means you need to have some maintenance done, because they tend to like to feed off of things like rotten wood. So yeah, get that water leak or whatever's causing your wood to rot fixed, but other than that, I mean, don't touch it. Don't touch oozing masses. That's rule 101 of horror movies. This is how you end up with a chest burster in you. But this one is friendly. This is just a megalophobia thing. If you're scared of big, then this is very scary. I personally am not scared of the big. I'm not scared of the big, I'm not scared of the ocean. I apparently am one of the few people who can play Subnautica and feel nothing. I believe I've covered this picture before, but it's worth doing again. So this ominous building's actually the Pennsylvania State Archives. And the reason why it has no windows is because in archives, especially historical archives, you tend to have lots of delicate documents and artifacts, and you want to keep them in a climate-controlled environment with minimal sunlight, because UV rays from sunlight are one of the quickest ways stuff can get ruined. So this building is basically just a concrete cube designed to protect important documents from the dangers of the outside world. This house has made the rounds in the scary images and evil buildings crowds on the internet. And a lot of people talk about it, but like usual, no one knows what it's actually from. This house is from Germany, and the reason why it's black is because it's an art piece. It's from Moringen, Germany, and it was a house that was slated to be demolished. So some local artists painted all black as kind of a way to symbolize its upcoming death. Before being painted black, the house had a bunch of cool graffiti on it, as you can see here, and it was just a popular place for artists to go. So the black is kind of just like a final burial shroud before it's demolishing, and it's a well-known house where lots of artists touched. So this one is actually very interesting. This is called an instant hot shower head. I didn't know these existed before looking it up. What this is it's a shower head that, it's plugged into the electricity, as you can see from all the wires, and it heats up the water as the water goes into it. So if you live in a house that doesn't have a water heater, you have one of these. So that way you can still have a hot shower. Now, it looks terrible. All those wires near a source of water definitely is concerning, but I at least get the logic behind it. To be honest, if the math is hot shower with a chance of electricity versus always cold showers, I might still take the hot shower. It would at least keep you on your toes in the morning. To be honest, that one, it didn't have many dumb facts to debunk. I just did it because I had some cool things to talk about. So to make it up to you guys, I found a second slideshow. This is a 2-for-1, baby. For some reason, this one and a lot of other scary slideshows are SpongeBob themed. I don't know why. I don't try to understand TikTok. So this one is weird. Ancient Egyptian pharaohs used their slaves as flycatchers. It took me a hot minute to figure out what on earth this was talking about. So the premise of the supposed fact is that Egyptian pharaohs used to cover some of their slaves in honey so that flies would be attracted to the slaves, and then the flies, wouldn't mess with the pharaoh or anything important. This, of course, is not true, and is one of those dumb facts that has just circulated the internet for so long that no one even knows where it came from. Now, there are some websites that claim it was specifically Pharaoh Pepe II. The problem is all the websites that claim this are the type you don't use as a source, because they are clearly just content farm websites, and I'm sure they just grabbed this fact off of some TikTok or Instagram and then passed it off as their own thing. This next one's about anesthesia awareness, and anesthesia awareness is very real, but don't worry, it is like exceptionally rare. But the basic thing is, very rarely, some people will have some level of awareness when during surgery. Most of the time, this involves either feeling pain from the surgery or hearing sounds. Now that's awful, and it sucks. But we don't know why it happens. Best guess is usually the anesthesiologist messed up, or the person having surgery done just has some weird thing going on that makes them, particularly resistant to anesthesia. A personal example for me is, while I haven't had anesthesia awareness, my body, for whatever reason, can metabolize painkillers super duper fast. So when I got my wisdom teeth out, midway through the operation, I could just start feeling everything, and so they had to re-up it, and then they had to do it again. They had to do it 3 times. During a different minor surgery on my finger, same thing happened. They gave me anesthesia in my finger, they got 1 stitch in, and then already my feelings started coming back. So yeah, I've never had anesthesia awareness, but I can sympathize. So this one about Madame Anna Maria Tussaud is just completely wrong. She did not steal decapitated heads and use them to make wax figures. It's kind of the other way around. Her wax heads were used during the French Revolution during demonstrations, because, you could take a wax head from a museum of some political figure you want to see beheaded, and then march it through the streets. So it's kind of true, but in the opposite way, where her wax heads were what led to people getting beheaded, kind of. This slide is talking about the Museum of Holy Souls in Rome. It is not haunted, obviously. What it is, though, it is a collection of objects from people who are believed to be in purgatory in the Catholic faith. So it was started by a priest who got a bunch of objects from a burning church. He got these objects from people that the church believed were in purgatory, and the idea with purgatory in Catholicism is you're in there until you've atoned for your sins and they can go to heaven. But you can speed it up if someone on earth prays for you. So the priest gathers a bunch of objects from people that don't have living family, so that way anonymous strangers could still pray for them, and then those people could still go to heaven. So it's probably outlived its purpose, because I'm assuming enough people have prayed there in the years since that everyone who's represented in there has gone to heaven, and now it's just kind of a cool museum. So fun fact, fatal shark attacks are so rare that Wikipedia just has a list of them. So I assume this is talking about Francis Javier Solorio, who was the only person who died in 2012 from a shark. The youngest person to have Alzheimer's was indeed a 19-year-old kid from China. I feel really bad for them and wish them all the best. Alzheimer's sucks, especially when your life is just beginning. Another thing I'm not going to joke about, progeria also sucks. It lowers your life expectancy a lot. It literally basically makes your body age faster. There are plenty of people that live pretty good lives with it, but it's still not a great thing. This slide is talking about Robert the doll, who is currently in a little museum in Key West. Supposedly it's a haunted doll and it's behind a bunch of things. I personally don't believe in ghosts, but also I've never met Robert the doll, so maybe Robert the doll is haunted, and the second I see it, it will try to stab me. Believe it or not, you would not pop. You would be crushed by the immense pressure, because that's how pressure works. You don't pop. You are not a balloon. That's it for this video. I have an actual proper scripted video coming next week. My new cadence is going to be a flip-flop. I'm going to alternate between scripted and unscripted, because scripted videos usually take 2 weeks to make, and these I can kind of make real quick to fill in the gap. So yeah, see ya.